evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Life and Leadership with P. Shags. Thank you for joining me this evening on YouTube. Thank you for joining me on Instagram Live. Thank you for joining me on MixLR. Thank you for joining me. All right, Mayowa Baba, welcome. Ade Dolakpo Ebado, I see you on Instagram. You're welcome. Rhoda Michael Uyamasi, I see you. M Songs, I see you. Mayowa Baba today, good evening. You're welcome and congratulations. Mayowa Babatunde is now a doctor. Congratulations to you. Thank you for always being here. Femin Michael, I see you. You're welcome. Thank you. For those of us who have joined already, do me a favor, share the link with your friends and with your loved ones. Go ahead and do it right away so that they can join us this evening. This is the final edition of the series, What You Choose is What You Get. This is also the final episode of Life and Leadership with Shegwoke for the year 2022. Okay, for everybody who has been with me from the beginning of the year up until this moment, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So if you're on Instagram Live, please tag your friends right in the comments. If you're on YouTube, share the link with somebody, okay? Let them know that we are live so that they can join us for this final session, okay? Our topic, like I said, is what you choose is what you get. Now, this is part 5. I definitely will not be able to go back all the way from the beginning and recap till where we got to last Wednesday, but I'll try to bring all of us up to speed. Okay, our topic for today is actually building capacity. That's the final session, like I have said, building capacity. But how did we get here? We got here by considering the big idea, what you choose is what you get. We have established the fact that every human has a God-given right and ability to determine what happens in their lives. Every human has the right and the ability to determine what happens in their lives. As a matter of fact, when other people try to suppress your right to choose what happens in your life, you still have a right of response. Okay, sometimes you don't choose what happened. You did not choose what happened, but you can choose how you respond. Okay, and we've explored that idea severally in the past 4 sessions we've had together. We got to the point where we shared, okay, on practical steps to take to make the right decisions, to make the very best of decisions. Then from there, we moved on to this final idea we are looking at, and how that God did not only give man the power of choice, but God gave man the responsibility to produce his choice. Now, this is important. God did not only give you the power of choice, he also gave you the responsibility to produce your choice. I told you last week how that God is not into finished products. God is into raw materials. In other words, when God decides to bless anybody, most of the time this is what he does. He plants the desire for that thing in your heart, then he surrounds you with the resources to build, the resources to produce. Most of the time, when God moves on earth, he moves through men. So this is important. Whatever God wants to do for you, he will do for you, through you, and others. Whatever God wants to do for you, he will do for you, through you, and through others. Now, this is important. Nobody can help you like you can help yourself. Let me say that in another way. Nobody will do for you more than you are willing or you are able to do for yourself. Nobody will do for you more than you are willing or perhaps able to do for yourself. Where you are not willing to go, nobody is going to do, is going to take you there. Nobody is going to do your push-ups for you. So when it comes to God blessing you, what it does for you, through you, perhaps is more important Okay, I'm saying your ability to align with God, to cooperate with God in bringing to pass your heart desire and God's intention for you is more important than even what any other person will do for you. There is a statement I've made severally in the last few years, and this is it. People will help you succeed when it becomes apparent that you are likely to succeed without their help. So you've got to take responsibility for yourself. That's all I'm trying to say. You've got to take responsibility for yourself. I said it to us this way last week, Wednesday. If you want it, build the capacity for it. Okay? If you want it, build the capacity for it. Listen, great marriages are not received, they are built. Great businesses are not received, they are built. Physical health, okay, is not, you can't just pray for physical health and receive it. You have to cooperate with God. You have to build. If your career is going to be outstanding, it has to be built. So I told you last week, Wednesday, to increase your capacity to the size of your dream. Increase your capacity to the size of your dream. Remember that story I told you? I was having a conversation with my pastor and I was describing to him how I wanted to be like somebody else. There's this other person, one of my, role models. And I was telling him how, look, I want to do like this. I want to be like this. I want to do what this person does. I want to do it like this person. And somewhere in the middle of that conversation, he stopped me in my tracks and he said, do you have his capacity? Do you have his capacity? And what he was trying to tell me is, listen, desire, wishing it's not enough. Passion is not enough. You have to build capacity for your dream, okay? And that was where we began to wind down last Wednesday, okay? I gave you 3 specific, steps to take to build your capacity. I said, first, be grateful for your convertible resources, okay? You see, gratitude will help you see them. Gratitude will help you see their true potential. When I talk about your convertible resources, I'm talking about your natural ability and aptitude. And we're going to get there in a moment. We're going to talk about that a little bit more this evening. Your natural ability and your aptitude, your physical health and your sound mind, your relationships and time. These are your convertible resources. Everybody has these convertible resources. The first step you want to take is to identify them and be grateful for them. Okay? Gratitude would open your eyes to the true potentials of your convertible resources. Gratitude would open your eyes to your possibilities. So you want to start with gratitude. You want to be able to identify these are the strengths I have. These are the things that come natural to me. These are the advantages I have. Okay, these are my opportunities. These are vital relationships in my life. And you want to be grateful for those relationships. Number 2, I told you to take responsibility for bigger tasks. If you want to build capacity, take responsibility for bigger tasks. I told you if it is not stretching you, it is not helping anybody. If it is not stretching you, it is not helping anybody. So you want to make sure, it's end of the year, almost end of the year. We're setting goals. We're making plans for the new year already. You want to make sure that you are going to take responsibility for bigger tasks. If you're at level 5 before, you want to begin to embrace level 6 and level 7 responsibility. Now, this is important. I did not say clamor for level 6 position or level 7 position. No. You see, when you are taking responsibility at a higher level, men will reward you with those levels. Okay? Take responsibility for level 6, for level 7, and you will notice in a matter of time, you will be promoted to that level. So take responsibility for bigger tasks. And finally, last Wednesday, I told you to design a PDR, a personal development regimen. A personal development regimen. In other words, what are you going to do consistently to continue to build your capacity? I told you that your personal development regimen must offer you or must bring to you a free flow of fresh and timely information, and it must give you opportunity to practice what you are learning immediately. Okay, so whatever it is, there's no hard and fast rule. All right, when you are designing your personal development regimen, you want to make sure that it has 2 major components: a free flow of fresh, and timely information, and opportunity to do what? To practice what you are learning immediately. I gave my own example, how I listen a lot to teachings and to podcasts, and how that teaching this series or teaching this program every Wednesday, I teach in the minimum twice every week. Okay, for me, it's a personal development regimen because the best way to master anything is to teach it. Okay, so teaching every week, a minimum of twice every week, helps me to master the things that I am learning. Now, because I'm going to teach, I have to learn. I have to know new things. I have to learn new things. So the responsibility I've taken for teaching puts me in a position to continue to learn. Okay, I have a number of people I am always hearing from. That's the truth. On a daily basis, a number of people I'm always reading after, I'm always listening to their podcasts, watching their videos. Why? Because I must learn. You cannot give what you don't have. So once I learn, teaching what I am learning helps me to master, okay, what I am learning. So for some people, they think, oh, this guy knows so much, so he teaches every Wednesday. No, I want to master these principles, so I teach them every Wednesday. For me, that's part of my personal development regimen. As you go into a new season, to a new year, you want to make sure you have a personal development regimen and you follow it religiously. Now, tonight, what I want to do is to show you 5 areas of focus when it comes to building capacity. Okay, if you're building your capacity, you want to focus on 5 major areas, and that's what we came to talk about this evening. The first area is your spiritual capacity. Spiritual capacity. Okay, spiritual capacity. Let me ask you these questions. How resolute is your faith? How stable is your character? And how sensitive are you to spiritual activities around you? These are indicators of spiritual capacity. Let me say it again. How resolute is your faith? Are you that strong in faith? If you are not there yet, you see the gap, then you know what you need to do next. Are you so resolute in faith, no matter what happens, your trust in God cannot be shaken? How resolute is your faith? Number 2, how stable is your character? How dependable are you? How positively predictable are you? These are signs of a big or a massive spiritual capacity. And then number 3, how sensitive are you to spiritual activities around you? You need to understand that the world we live in is a spiritual world. I see so many Christians make this mistake. In a bid to succeed in what they think is the secular, they abandon, their faith and their spiritual life, not knowing that some of the people they are competing with in what they call the secular do not joke with the spiritual. They may not call on God the way you call on God, but whatever they do spiritually, they don't joke with it. So as a child of God, you don't want to neglect your spiritual life, okay? Your spiritual capacity. Let me say this to you. Your spiritual capacity has a direct impact on your character, and then it makes the right people attracted to you, okay? Or it makes you attractive to the right people, okay? Your spiritual capacity has a direct impact on your character, okay? And it makes you attractive to the right people. That is one of the reasons why you want to build your spiritual capacity. This is what I have found out, that when you focus on pleasing God, okay, you will exceed the standards and the expectations of men. When you focus on pleasing God, you will exceed the standards and the expectations of men. And of course, you know that is what it means to be excellent, to exceed expectations, okay? To exceed expectations. I'm going to have us look at the example of Daniel and his friends. We all know that story. Daniel and his friends, they were taken as captives from Judah to Babylon. These were, guys from noble families. These were guys from Judah who are people of covenant. Now, Daniel and 3 of his friends decided, even though we have experienced a negative turn of events, our faith in God is unshakable. That tells us about their spiritual capacity. And then in captivity, they decided to be committed to God. What's the point we are looking at? That when you make pleasing God your focus, you will exceed the standards and the expectations of men. And that's what it means to be excellent. And when you are excellent, people cannot do without you. They want you on their team. They want to do business with you. They want you in their, in their employ. They want to be married to you because you are excellent. What I'm putting in your hand is the connection between spiritual capacity and excellence and success in life. When you make pleasing God your focus, you will exceed the expectations of men. So let's read from Daniel chapter 1, verse 17 to verse 20. I'm going to read it from the New Living Translation of the Bible. Read along with me. The Bible says, God gave these 4 men. Now, this is in response to their commitment to God. God gave these 4 young men an unusual aptitude for understanding every aspect of literature and wisdom. And God gave Daniel the special ability to interpret the meanings of visions and dreams. When the training period ordered by the king was completed, the chief of staff brought all the young men to Nebuchadnezzar. The king talked with them, and no one impressed him as much as Daniel, Ananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So they entered the royal service. Whenever the king consulted them in any matter requiring wisdom and balanced judgment, he found them 10 times more capable than any of the magicians and enchanters in his entire kingdom. This is interesting. I need you to get this. The Bible records that it was God that gave them unusual aptitude, the ability to learn. So please, you need to understand, there is a direct connection between spirituality and competence. There is a direct connection between spirituality and competence. When a man's way pleases the Lord, the Bible says God will make even his enemies to be at peace with him. When a man's way pleases the Lord, he becomes excellent before men. So you want to pay attention to your spiritual capacity. That's the starting point. Okay? The stronger you become spiritually, the more excellent you will be in the affairs of men, in the things of men. The stronger you are spiritually, the better you become, okay, in physical things, in secular things. That is very, very important. Let's go to principle number 2. We are looking at 5 areas of focus when it comes to building capacity. The second area you want to pay attention to is what I call your intellectual capacity. Intellectual capacity. This is your ability to process thoughts and ideas. Your ability to process thoughts and ideas. I particularly like Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23 from the Good News Bible. It says, be careful how you think. Your life is shaped by your thoughts. But I need you to notice something there. It didn't say, be careful of your thoughts. It is not the thoughts that are the problem. It is how you think. That is the issue. It is be careful how you think. Everybody thinks. The difference is how we think. Your thinking determines the quality of your life, not the circumstances, not the events, not the people. It is the way you think that determines the way you live. So, if you are going to grow in capacity, one area you want to pay attention to is how you think. If you've been following me for a while, you know I recommend all the time the book by John Maxwell, How Successful People Think. That's the new title. For those who have the old book, okay, the old title was Thinking for a Change. Thinking for a Change by John C. Maxwell. In that book, John Maxwell explains 11 different thinking skills of successful people. And one beautiful thing he said in that book is what differentiates successful people and those who struggle is the way they think. And the good news is that the way successful people think can be learned. If you have not read that book, even if you have read it before, I will encourage you. It's the kind of book you read at least once every year, okay, to help you understand. Look, it's not about what's going on. It's about how I am processing what is going on. Let me give you some other suggestions. If you want to build your intellectual capacity, I'm going to ask you to embrace education, both formal and informal education. Embrace education. I'm going to encourage you to train your mental muscles by reading stimulating materials. This is important. You see, the exercise of reading in and of itself helps you to develop the ability to process thoughts and ideas. You see, the process of converting words to images, because that's what happens when we read. You are looking at a book and all you are looking at, are words. When you begin to read those words, you don't see words, you see pictures. You see, that process of converting words to images is what makes people intelligent. So you want to make a habit of reading mentally stimulating books. Be selective. Don't feed your mind with junk. Consume the material of creative people, of intelligent people. I'm talking about books, I'm talking about articles. Books and articles of intelligent people. At a point, you know authors that really inspire you. Make sure you buy their materials, consume their work. It will help you process thoughts and ideas better, okay? Train your mental muscles by reading mentally stimulating materials. Another thing I'm going to encourage you to do if you're going to build your intellectual capacity is to engage in stimulating conversations, okay? Engage in stimulating conversations. Don't argue with people who are not trying to solve massive problems. Don't engage with people who are talking about people. Engage with people who are discussing ideas. Volunteer for brainstorming sessions. Volunteer for creative meetings. It will help you build your mental capacity. Let's move on tonight. The third area you want to focus on as you build your capacity is your relational capacity. Your relational capacity. I'm going to encourage you to do what? Build bridges, okay? Build bridges, make new friends. One of the best ways, let me explain it to you this way. No matter how much you grow, no matter how much you can do, each and every one of us, we have our limits. Now listen to this. There is a difference between limits and limitations. Limitations are external. Okay, for example, you want to go out for a meeting and then it's raining cats and dogs. That's a limitation. You want to go out for a meeting, okay, or you want to go to submit a proposal somewhere and then you find yourself in traffic. That's a limitation. You have an idea on how to scale your business, but you don't have the finance. That is a limitation, okay? Limitations can always be resolved, but limits are endowments that God did not give you. There is nothing you can do about your limits. For example, it's possible for a person to have a lot of money. It's possible for the person to have ideas and he knows how to write stories, okay? But the person does not know how to act. So the person is not gifted with the ability of acting. That is a limitation. Okay, for example, somebody like me now, I think I've been 5'4", 5'5" for like, if not 20 plus years now. There's nothing I can do about growing taller. It is a limit. That's a limit. Okay, what you are not given is a limit. All right, but the beautiful thing about relational capacity is you can circumvent your limits, okay, by building relationships. So for example, a person like Mo Abudu in Lagos, I have never seen her act in any movie, but she's an entertainment mogul. Why? She knows how to build relationships with people in the industry. She's an entrepreneur, okay? The same thing with Aliko Dangote. By building relationships, you can produce greater results. Just like the Bible says, two are better than one because they have greater return for their labor. So there's nothing you can do about your limits, but when you broker relationships, you can circumvent your limits. What you don't have, another person will have. So when you join forces together you can produce greater results. Okay, I had to digress to help us understand the value of building bridges, of making new friends, of building relationships. Now let me give you some thoughts, okay, to encourage you, or as you begin to build your relational capacity, put these things in mind. You want to make sure that you treat yourself like a genius. This is important. Treat yourself like a genius. Another person said it this way: treat yourself like $100. Okay? Treat yourself like royalty. This is the reason why. You will never treat anybody better than you treat yourself. Okay? You cannot give what you don't have. So if you want the best of relationships, it is about the way you treat people. But you can't treat people better than you treat yourself. So treat yourself like a genius. Think the best thoughts about you. Expect the best of yourself. Okay? Treat yourself with a lot of respect, and you will find yourself treating other people that way. That's the first, okay, suggestion I'm going to give you. Number 2, develop a genuine interest in the well-being of other people. If you want to build the best of relationships, develop a genuine interest in the well-being of other people and pay attention to them. You know, a lot of people, when they relate or they are relating with other people, they are too fixated on what they want to achieve, what they hope to get from that person. And when you are like that, you don't genuinely care, and people see it. And it can be very, very repulsive. You come across as selfish, as greedy, and that is because you don't have a genuine interest in the well-being of other people. Let me show you one of the ways you know people that truly care about other people is how they pay attention when other people are introducing themselves. When you're the kind of person that meets people and forget their names, it's a sign that you don't care. I found this out about people. If there's something I know people love a lot, is the sound of their own name. So when you go out of your way to learn people's name, watch this, to learn how to pronounce people's names correctly, it communicates interest. It means that you care, okay? And then they give some vague information about themselves, and then you can remember. It means you care. Let me give you a trick. If you want to truly develop genuine interest in people, anytime you are conversing with them, seek to know more about them than to express or than to let them know about you. The person that asks the questions controls the conversation. The person that asks the questions controls the conversation. So ask them questions about themselves. And if there's anything I know about people, especially successful people, they like to talk about themselves. They like to talk about their success. So the more you ask them questions, the more they tell you, the more they talk. The more they talk, the more you know them, the more you understand. If you can recall what they share with you, you come across as someone who genuinely cares. And when you genuinely care for people, they respond with favor. So if you want to build great relationships, treat yourself like a genius, because you can't treat people better than you treat yourself. Then develop a genuine interest in other people. Very close to that point is the next one. Be a student, not the teacher. Be the student, not the teacher. You see, that communicates humility and it attracts favor. When you relate with people, stop trying to impress people with your knowledge. Stop trying to figure out who is superior. When you meet with people, automatically take the position of the subordinate, take the position of the student. Okay? It comes across to people as, oh, this person is humble. You know, even the Bible says that God, okay, gives grace to the humble. He resists the proud and he gives more grace to the humble. You know what I found out? People do exactly the same thing. They resist the proud but give grace to the humble. So when you meet with people, be the student. Okay? I've seen my pastor practice this principle a lot. You are talking, the moment you start talking, he pays attention. He's listening to you. You're like, wow. And he's like, wow, are you serious? And then he'll be asking questions to elicit more information from you. When you will feel stupid is 2 weeks later when he's speaking, perhaps at a public event, and he begins to speak about the same subject, only for you to find out that he actually knows about the subject more than you. But when you were speaking, he took the position of a student. And I found out that people just like you. The thing endears you to people when you are the one learning from them, you are the one asking questions. Let me give you a final suggestion as you build relational capacity. Maximize access with flexibility. I'll explain myself. Maximize access with flexibility. See, when people share information with you, when people advise you, if you are not quick to work that advice into the fabric of your life, they will hold back from sharing with you. So when I say maximize access with flexibility, I am saying be quick to imbibe, okay, what you are learning. Be quick to imbibe what you are learning. Okay, for example, especially for those of us who have mentors in our lives, when they tell you, oh, you know what, why don't you do it this way? Why don't you do it that way? The next time they are talking with you, it must be obvious that you have implemented what you were asked to do. You see, your mentor is not the person that advises you. Your mentor is the person whose advice you take. When you take advice, it is obvious. They can see that you are taking advice, and then more will flow your direction. But when you're the kind of person that struggles with change, you hear, but you don't do. Okay? You repel smart people, wise people, successful people because they don't want to waste their resources. So you make sure you are the kind of person that when you are given access, you maximize access, okay, with flexibility. Apply what you are learning immediately. Let me say this to you. If you are not changing, you are not growing. And the people in your life can see it. If you are not changing, you are not growing. If the same way you do things is the same way you do things, I tell you, for free. People like to receive advice, and and it is because they medicate with advice. They get relief from advice. They really don't want to change. This is the challenge. Valuable people, when they invest in you and they see that you don't value the information they have given you, they hold back and they don't give you more information. So you want to make sure you do what? You maximize access with flexibility, okay? Apply what you are learning immediately. Let's go to principle number 4. We're looking at 5 areas of focus if you want to build capacity. We have looked at spiritual capacity. We have looked at intellectual capacity. We have looked at relational capacity. Number 4 is financial capacity. Financial capacity. What do I mean by that? You want to develop the right attitude to money. Develop the right attitude to money. You must see money for what it is. And what is money? Money is a tool for the pursuit of purpose. Money is a tool for the pursuit of purpose. It is not something that defines you. So you don't want to be that person that defines himself by how much money he has or how much money he does not have. Jesus said, a man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. So how much you have is not your value, but you must see money for what it is. If you don't have it, you will find it difficult, okay, to pursue purpose, to fulfill your functions and the roles that you're supposed to play in life. So money is a tool for the pursuit of purpose. The advice I'm going to give when it comes to building your financial capacity is, number 1, take responsibility for your prosperity. Okay? Take responsibility for your prosperity. How do you do that? Let it sink in your mind. Nobody owes me. Okay? Nobody owes me. Nobody owes me. So you want to master what I call the law of exchange and the impact of value on exchange. Okay, and it's a biblical principle. Luke chapter 6 and verse 38. Give, and it shall be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men. In other words, the degree of money that flows to you is determined by the degree of value that flows from you. So it's not enough to pray. It's not enough to hustle. You want to intentionally create value. You want to intentionally make sure that exchange is taking place. That exchange is taking place. In other words, you create value and you take your value to people who can afford your value. Okay? When you give what you have, Bible calls it casting your pearls before swine. You carry value and give it to people who can't afford it. Exchange is not taking place. You are giving out, you are not receiving. And a lot of times, it's our fault. Okay, time will not permit me. Some of us who are entrepreneurs, the way we fix prices, okay, at times determines whether value is going to flow back to us. It is exchange. And you must make sure that as value is going out of you, that value is coming to you. I'm going to also ask you to do what? Set a goal to double your income. For some of us, as you are planning for the new year, make that one of your goals. You see, what it does is it begins to stretch your mind. Give yourself a target. Ask yourself questions. What must I do to double my income in the next 12 months? If you engage your mind, ideas will flow. If you act on them, things will shift for you financially. And finally, when it comes to financial capacity, the final thing I'm going to say to you is what? Order precedes increase. Order precedes increase. if you manage well what you already have, you will position yourself for more to be given to you. It's very simple. People that manage money well tend to have more money. Order precedes increase. What am I asking you to do? Develop a budget and stick to it. Okay? Don't let money come into your hand without meeting a plan. After money has come, make sure money goes out of your hand according to plan. Order precedes increase. Okay? Those that use well what they are given are the ones who are qualified for more. What are we looking at tonight? 5 areas of focus when it comes to building capacity. Okay? For the benefit of those who joined us just a few moments ago, let me go back and just remind us of what we have covered before we look at the last one. So we started with what? Spiritual capacity, followed by intellectual capacity, followed by relational capacity, okay, followed by financial capacity, and finally tonight is leadership capacity. Leadership capacity. Leadership capacity. It is a major area of focus. In John Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, the first law is the law of the lead. It's very, very important. It says that your leadership ability will determine the lead of your success. In other words, your ability to lead will determine how successful you become. Let me say it in another way. If you can't lead, you won't go far. If you can't lead, you won't go far. So you want to make sure of all the areas of your life that you develop, you intentionally develop your leadership capacity. And that's what? Your ability to inspire people, your ability to move people from where they are to where they ought to be, your ability to cause change in your environment without forcing people. That's leadership. Your leadership capacity will determine the extent of your success. So, as you seek to build leadership capacity, I have a few suggestions for you. First, evaluate your current leadership capacity. That's the starting point. Start by evaluating your current leadership capacity. There are so many free tests online that you can take. Another thing you can do is to ask a leader you respect to evaluate you. Okay, nothing becomes dynamic until it is specific. So you want to say to yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I as far as leadership capacity is concerned? After your evaluation, you may say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a level 3. Then you set a goal. Before December 2023, I want to go from level 3 to level 6. Okay, I want to go from level 3 to level 6. What do I do? Next point is what? Invest in leadership development. How do you do that? Books and trainings. Books and trainings. So as you are setting your goal for the next year, how many leadership books are you going to read? How many leadership trainings are you going to attend? Okay, this is a good opportunity for me to invite you to my own leadership training program holding in the month of March 2023. Many people were part of the first edition, the maiden edition. We did it this year. It was beautiful. Okay, we call it Lead to Win. So the next edition is Lead to Win 2.0. Okay, the specific dates are going to be released very soon, but it's going to be in the month of March. Okay, perhaps from the month of February into March. Okay, it's 6 weeks of intense training on leadership. 5 sessions are going to be virtual. Then the final session is going to be a physical session of a minimum of 4 hours of training in leadership. In that 6-week period, we are going to cover the book, Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 by John C. Maxwell. Every week, I'm going to share ideas with you from the book. You are going to read the book. I'm going to evaluate you. There is a test you will take every week, okay, to see how much you are mastering the material. And you're going to have discussions, okay, with your group. There's going to be a project you're going to do at the end of the program. It's a beautiful program. It's fun and it is very, very enlightening. Okay, it is very practical. You will not remain the same. What we are adding to the package this year, especially because of those who were part of the first edition, is we are adding another book this year, and that is 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. So when you are registering, you get to pick which of the 2 books you want to focus on, either Developing the Leader Within You 2.0 or 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. And in the first 5 weeks, we are going to go into those books together. So the book you choose determines your group, and you're going to be having your group meetings where we're discussing those principles. Much more than the content of the book, I'm going to be teaching every week in those 5 weeks, okay, in the virtual sessions. Then finally, in a very beautiful, exquisite hotel in the city of Lagos, we're going to have our final session, okay, even with maybe another guest speaker. It's going to be a beautiful time. Those who are part of this year's edition know what I'm talking about. So be on the lookout. Okay, and of course, there are so many other programs you can register for, but by all means, if you must increase your leadership capacity, invest in books, invest in trainings. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is embrace every opportunity you have to lead other people. Okay, take leadership responsibility. You see, most of the time, if you are appointed to the position to lead, okay, it is not as effective as when you take responsibility for leadership. Because you see, when you are given a position to lead, people would only follow you because they have to, because somebody who is higher than you and them said that they should follow you. But when you take responsibility for leadership, you are inspiring. People know you care. Okay, you see a problem, you take it upon yourself to solve it, and then you enlist the assistance of people in solving that problem. That's where leadership starts from. So you want to embrace every opportunity you have to lead what? To lead other people. And as we round up this evening, please take this from me. Your leadership capacity is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So if you're going to grow your leadership capacity, just lead. Every opportunity you have, lead. Okay? Take responsibility for positive change. It is on that note that we are going to round up this session tonight, that we're going to round up Life and Leadership with Segun Oke for the year 2022. I believe it's been a beautiful time. You have enjoyed yourself. Okay, do me a favor. You can share the teaching with friends and loved ones. It is always available. Everything we have shared is on my YouTube channel. Okay, just search for Segun Oke on YouTube, and you can see the previous editions, okay, of what we have shared in this program. And don't just watch, subscribe to that channel, and then share links with your friends, share teachings with your friends, okay, and let's help as many people as possible. The reason why we've been able to have these sessions is because Hill City Church has made it available. So in appreciation, you want to make sure you visit Hill City Church, okay, as soon as you can. By the way, if you're preparing for 2023, you don't want to miss what I'm teaching this coming Sunday. It's titled The Power of a Compelling Vision. The Power of a Compelling Vision. It's the Sunday 11th of December and 18th of December. Join us 9:30 a.m. West African time. If you are outside Lagos, you can join us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on MixLR. Just search for @HillCityNG. You don't want to miss this set of teachings. These 2 teachings, 11th of December, 18th of December. You don't want to miss them for anything. The Power of a Compelling Vision. Okay, if you are in Lagos, join us physically. You will be glad you did. 18/20 Kudirat Abiola Way, Oregun, Ikeja, Lagos. And for those on the Lekki side of town, good news. Hill City is coming to you from the 1st of January 2023, 5 p.m. We are starting with what we call the Lekki Praise Party. Tosin B is going to be there live. And of course, our own worship team, City Music, is also going to be there live. And I'm going to be there live also teaching on that day, 1st of January 2023, 5 p.m. The Lekki Praise Party. You don't want to miss it for anything. It's happening live at Newcastle Hotel, number 21, TF Kuboye Road, Lekki Phase 1. Don't miss these programs for anything. And it's on that note that I'm signing off for today, for the year, as far as this program is concerned. I'll see you in 2023. Thank you for coming along with me all these weeks. Thank you for ideas, thoughts, okay, that you have shared with me, the responses, the feedbacks. Thank you very, very much. I'll see you next year. We'll take things to another level. God bless you. Bye-bye.